guys, so welcome back to my channel. Right now I am parting the frontal and just creating like a space, so making sure that it's even distribution of hair on each side, so that when I part for my patchwork of blonde hair that it's even and it like really frames my face. I don't want more blonde on one side and like more brown on another. I just want to make sure that it's even, and I'm taking about a half an inch of hair in the front and I am going to bleach that space. You kind of want to make sure that you're not getting any bleach on the other side of the hair. I did make this mixture a little thick, thicker than what I use like on the bundles, just so that it didn't like go super quick or like I could kind of see it. And I'm using this quick blue bleach, wow, by L'Oreal, and I am just bleaching that right now with some 30 volume developer. And this is going to get it it's not going to get it so blonde. I don't want it to get too blonde in the first part. I am going to bleach it again later, but I just wanted to lighten it up just a little bit, just to make sure that it was lighter than the rest. So I just wanted to bleach it first, but I didn't want to bleach it all the way because it is going to be in the front of my face, so I didn't want to go ahead with a heavy hand on the bleach or like a heavy developer. So right now I am using the BW2 bleach powder, and I'm going to use this with some 30 volume developer for the bundles. I'm starting off with the 30 as well, because then I'm going to go in with 40 later on and 40 on certain spots. I'm using this Clairol 30 volume developer, and this developer is like, it's very strong. Like, it says 30, but it like reacts to hair like a 40. I feel like it is very strong. I realized that dyeing blonde hair is a process. Don't try to rush it. Don't try to do it at a time where you want to rush it, because it does take time to bleach hair, especially if you don't want to mess up your hair, and especially if you're not sure how the bundles will react to the bleach. So you want to be careful when bleaching hair. Right now I just separated the bundles and I'm bleaching one half and keeping the other half brown, because when I go in for the second bleaching process, I want certain parts of my bundles to be different levels. So I want some to be really light and some to be darker, and just to have that sort of highlighted low light effect. And that's what I'm doing. So right now I'm just going in with 30 volume developer, making sure these bundles are sauced in the sauce of bleach. Like, you don't want spots, like if you're bleaching in an area, you don't want just like a strip of random brown, like a patchwork of brown in the middle of the bundle. That's not cute. That's not the dye job that we're going for. We're trying to look like we legit left the salon with this highlighted brown blonde combination, okay? Like, we're trying to look like Beyoncé, so Beyonce ain't got no patches like that, okay? So just get it sauced in the sauce right now. And you can see that this developer is already changing the hair color. Like, if you peep game, like, look, it's already like brown right now, and like, it was crazy. It was like working so fast. So I definitely kept an eye on it, because I was so scared like that it was going to fry. And believe it or not, I don't have footage right now, but one bundle did end up like being like super brittle, but I'm so glad that I had extra brown bundles, and I just replaced that and bleached it again. Like, I'm being completely honest with you, dyeing hair blonde is really like, it's really tedious. I don't like doing blonde hair. I'd rather get 613 hair and just call it a day and dye whatever hair color, because bleaching is a process that I don't enjoy, and it just takes a lot of time, a lot of just looking out. You can't just leave it and forget about it. It's just so tedious. So right now I am just wrapping it in some clear plastic wrap, just so that I could see the process still, and then I'm repeating that with the other bundles. Some of the bundles I am taking the 30 and I'm dragging it higher up. The lower bundles, I didn't drag it as high up to the top as I did like the shorter bundles, because I wanted the lower bundles to still have a little more brown, and that's pretty much it. So for certain parts of the bundles, I wanted to use the 40 volume developer just so that it processed a little higher and became a little lighter. So that's what I'm doing with the second half of this brown hair. I'm using some of that 40 volume developer instead of the 30. And I'm just making sure again that it is sauced in this bleach. I am making sure everything is coated and even, and then I'm just going to wrap it up again and just set it off to the side. I left the hair for about 15 to 20 minutes, honestly, because it was already reacting so quick. Now, in the frontal, I'm doing over that patchwork one more time. You can see that it got a little light brown, and I took it out earlier than I did some of my bundles. Like my bundles, I let it process for about 20 minutes. 20 to, honestly, I think it was like 20 to 30 minutes, not 15 minutes. Sorry about that. I let my patchwork process for only about 15 minutes because I didn't want it to get brittle or anything. So yeah. And for the frontal area, I already started one half, but when I did it, I processed between 40 volume developer and 30 volume developer. I wanted certain strands to be really light and then certain strands to be a little more muted and brown and not so blonde. So I went for a 40 to begin with certain strands, and then I zigzagged and I did some strands I wanted to leave brown, some strands I wanted to do 30. So I ended up putting a clear plastic wrap in between some of the bleach, and I left some strands. I zigzagged my comb through the frontal, and just so that it created like some sort of highlight and just like little bits of just brown. And I sandwiched that in between another clear plastic wrap, and then I bleached the top. So basically, instead I bleached up area and then I cleared it with plastic wrap, and then I didn't bleach another area, and then I put plastic wrap over that, and then I bleached another area. And that's how I'm just switching back and forth. And I'm also checking on the patch, making sure that it is processing and not processing too harsh. So when I got closer to the middle or to the top of my frontal, I didn't drag the bleach too high up because I wanted there to still be that halo effect and that brown. So I didn't use too much bleach at the top or drag it to the top as much when I got to the middle. And you want to do that so that you're not creating like, it's not just like fully blonde, so that you can see the transition from the patchwork to that contrast of the brown of the rest of the hair. You guys can tell the different levels of processing. Some of the bundles were really light, some of the bundles were really brown, and that's the effect that when you bleach it at certain times, as well as using different developers, it gave you that effect of low lights and highlights already, so that when I went in with this light ash blonde, it kind of dyed some of the brown hairs as well as toned the really brassy yellow dye. So I didn't have any footage of me using that Revlon mix because the footage was too long and it kind of cut off and I didn't realize. So I'm so sorry, but I ended up using that all over the bundles, and that kind of toned the yellowness of the hair using that light ash blonde. So it made it a little more brown and like just toned and took out a lot of the yellowness in the hair, which I needed. I didn't want I didn't want the hair to be too brassy, so that it didn't really have any contrast against the patchwork. When I got to dyeing the frontal area or toning the frontal area, I went in with this light ash brown just so that it transitioned from the really dark roots of the natural hair, as well as to a nice light brown, light ash brown, so that it then transitioned to the lightest blonde that it was at the end. So that is what created that effect using that light brown ash. And I use that actually all over the top of the frontal just so that it would dye the brown roots as well, because I didn't want the roots to be super dark. I wanted it to transition a little more. So when I used the light brown ash, the light ash brown, it ended up dyeing the dark roots just a tiny bit, just so that it wasn't too dark in the transition and that it flowed. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I wasn't able to get a lot of the footage and I'm sorry, but I hope this helped. As you can see, the light brown ash right there contrasted against the hair, as well as the ends are really bright and like they blend in with the patchwork and they kind of complement each other. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, and subscribe to my channel. Bye!